For nearly 1,000 years, one name stood above all others: Rome. A city that began as a small cluster of huts beside the Tiber River would rise to control lands stretching from the deserts of Africa to the mountains of Britain, from the Atlantic shores of Spain to the fertile valleys of the Middle East. But Rome didn't become the world's greatest empire overnight. Its rise was a story of ambition, strategy, discipline, and an unshakable belief that it was destined to rule. It began, according to legend, with two brothers, Romulus and Remus, raised by a she-wolf. Whether myth or truth, the message was clear: Rome was born from strength, survival, and destiny. As the small settlement grew, so did its hunger for power. Surrounded by stronger neighbors, the early Romans quickly learned that if they wanted to survive, they had to fight, and fight well. This constant struggle forged one of the most disciplined and effective fighting forces in the ancient world. Rome's first great advantage was its army. The Roman legion was more than a military unit, it was a machine. Soldiers were trained relentlessly, organized with precision, and led by commanders who rewarded skill and punished failure. While other armies fought with passion, Rome fought with strategy. They built roads for faster movement, forts for protection, and used engineering to shape the battlefield to their advantage. With every victory, the Roman Empire grew, absorbing the strengths of the people it conquered. But Rome was more than its military. It was a master of adaptation. When they fought the Greeks, they adopted Greek culture, philosophy, and technology. When they fought the Carthaginians, they copied their warships to build a navy strong enough to dominate the Mediterranean. Every enemy Rome faced became, in some way, a teacher, and Rome learned quickly. One of the turning points in Rome's rise came with the Punic Wars, a brutal clash against Carthage, the greatest naval power of the time. For over a century, the two superpowers fought for control of the Mediterranean. Carthage had genius generals like Hannibal, but Rome had something even more powerful: determination. They rebuilt fleets after every defeat, trained new armies after every loss, and refused to surrender under any circumstance. When Carthage finally fell, Rome became the dominant force of the ancient world. With new wealth, new lands, and new power, Rome expanded rapidly. And as it grew, it built something extraordinary: a civilization. Roads connected distant territories, allowing trade and communication to flourish. Aqueducts brought clean water to cities. Massive amphitheaters hosted games and celebrations. Roman law created order. Roman engineering created awe. And Roman culture spread across continents, uniting millions under a single identity. But Rome's greatest strength may have been its ability to make conquered people feel like they belonged. Instead of destroying defeated nations, Rome often offered them citizenship, rights, and a place in its growing empire. This created loyalty, and transformed enemies into allies. Soon, people across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East proudly called themselves Roman. Yet the rise of Rome was not without internal struggle. Ambition turned into rivalry. Politicians fought for power. Wealth created corruption. For a time, the Republic shook under the weight of civil wars. But out of this chaos emerged one man who would change everything: Julius Caesar. His leadership expanded Rome further than ever before. And after his death, his adopted son, Augustus, became Rome's first emperor, ushering in an era of peace, prosperity, and unmatched power. This period, known as the Pax Romana, transformed Rome into the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. Cities thrived, trade flourished, art, science, architecture, and literature reached new heights. The Roman Empire, now united under strong leadership, dominated the known world. Rome's rise to greatness was not a single moment, but a long journey built on discipline, innovation, resilience, and ambition. It conquered with its military, ruled with its laws, inspired with its culture, and influenced the world in ways that still shape our lives today. From language to architecture, government to engineering, Rome's legacy remains everywhere. This is how a small city on the banks of the Tiber River became the most powerful empire the world had ever known.